channel. So today I'm going to be ranking all of the eyeshadow palettes that I went into in the month of February. There were quite a few of them. I really kind of went a little bit wild. I think this is why I did only hit one eyeshadow palette in February, because I think I expanded what I was working on quite a bit. So I have 17 eyeshadow palettes here. And I actually went into more than 17 in the month of February, but for this ranking, I only pull in palettes that I go into at least 2 shades. So all of my Pan Those eyeshadows, for the most part, don't get rolled into this ranking video. So that is a lot. That's a lot where I've gone into multiple shades. So I went a little bit wild, especially since it was a shorter month. That is a little bit strange. Okay, so anyway, let's get started. Let's start with the first one, which is actually a shocker to me and a little bit upsetting, but I think it's just, in terms of formula, it's not the same as how it used to be and how I remember it, and it is an older eyeshadow palette. So I did go into my Norvina this month. I did a whole get ready with me with this palette, and I trashed the video because it just didn't look good. And I know that I don't always have to look good in my get ready with. It's absolutely fine. But what I've realized in this palette is that they've become incredibly chalky and incredibly powdery, and it's just one of these things where eyeshadow just gets a little bit too old. I do like this color story, obviously, and this palette still has a special place in my heart. It used to be one of my favorite palettes in my collection, but just from my experience going into it this last week, I didn't even like the shimmers on my lids. I just felt that they were a little bit too textured, a little bit too powdery. And so I have to rank this one at the bottom just simply because of the quality in the formula, which is such a shame. It currently is in my year-long Project Pan eyeshadow project. So that's kind of why I went into it, because I wanted to get more use on some of these shades. And I will keep it in there, but I do think this is probably going to be the last year that I'm going to have this palette in my collection, sadly. Next up, you know it, it's the Earthly from Beauty Bay. I think I'm just got really sick of this palette. So this was my Pan That palette in order, and I did recently decide that I can't have it in my Pan That palette in order anymore. It was just driving me nuts. I did actually go into it a lot these last couple months, but in February I went into it quite a bit too, because I was still adamant that I was going to try to hit pan in the shades, and I haven't hit pan in them. So it has been rolled out. It's going back into my drawers. And yeah, I'm ranking at the bottom just because I was kind of like I just hated going into it at the end of the day, and I don't want that to happen. All right, so the rest of these I feel like I enjoyed the rest of these. I don't really have anything negative to say about them, but I've had to rank them in this order. So here we go. We've got the Blueberry Muffin from BH. Now this one there seems absolutely fine. This one, I know some of my BH Cosmetics palettes, the formula seems to be going, but this one is fine. I went into just a couple of shades, so I don't feel like I can truly rank this palette as an overall look, because I literally only went into this one and this one when I did my Get Ready With Me, when I was doing a book-inspired makeup look. So it was more of a companion palette in that case. I would like to dedicate a little bit more time to this palette because I just feel like I haven't done that yet, but that's why I'm ranking it so low. Next up, we've got my Nabla Dreamy. So this is another one where, similar to the Norvina, it's a very similar color story, and I really do like it, but I'm wondering if these tones are not my preference anymore. I don't know what it is, but I went into this, I did a very pretty look, but it didn't wow me. And normally when I go into this palette, I'm wowed. So I think it is just, what I'm feeling at the moment. My preferences do change from year to year. And, formulas do change as well. Although I think with this one, the formula hasn't changed like the Norvina. I don't think it's all powdery and chalky and everything like that. I think it still performs the way that it should, but my enjoyment from it wasn't very high this month. And I did do just a look with this palette. So I did give it some love, but yeah, I don't know. All right, then I went into the Desert Monsoon from What's Up Beauty. So this one I went into when I did my Shop My Stash Get Ready With Me. So I didn't go into too many shades, but I did go into a couple because I wanted to obviously go into the palette. I've hardly gone into this one at all. Again, I still feel like I've hardly gone into it because I only went into that once. So I don't know if I'm going to try to go into it a little bit more. I just think it's a palette that I forget about, and it doesn't spark any joy. Like when I use it, it's pretty, but it's not very exciting to me, which is a shame. Next up, we've got the Muse from Cosmic Beauty. I did go into a couple of shades in here. I do like this palette, but it is a little dark. However, I did enjoy using it this month, and it's still a palette that I want to spend a little bit more time on, so I might leave it out. Again, though, just not my favorite, and I think it's because of the color story. Next up, this is a new palette that I picked up this month. This is the Makeup Revolution Astro Nova palette. Did not need this in my collection. I don't need any of these palettes in my collection, let's be real, but I bought this, and I really like the color story, and I played with it, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't go into too many shades, but I did do one look with this, and I just thought this shade was actually really pretty, which is called Astro or Astral. And I definitely went into like these pinks over here too, and the matte performed fine. I think this one was a dud, this Supernova. I tried to put it on my lids and nothing came from it. So obviously there is a little bit of negativity with this palette. That's why I'm not ranking it like super, super high. But I do want to go into more of these earthy tones for this next month. So I might just use it again. Because obviously I just had a first impression, so it'd be nice to go back into it a little bit more. Then right at the beginning of the month, I did go into my Artemis from Alter Ego, and I really, really enjoyed this. I did film a short, but I never posted it. I don't know why. So I have the short, but I never posted it. And I just did like a grungy green vibe, and it was fun to just do a look, and honestly do a look that no one ended up seeing. It was just kind of fun because it was like for me, but now you guys have seen it. So I don't know. Whatever. It's still when I had my red hair. Maybe I just didn't like the way it looked, but I like that palette still, and I like Alter Ego. So next up, I've got the Haunted Mansion from Colourpop. I really do like this. I feel like I've talked about it a lot, but I just genuinely like this palette. And I went into this specifically because I was trying to it's not very similar to the new Colourpop palette that came out that was like a romantasy palette for books. If you know what I'm talking about, I can't remember what it's called, but it literally sold out in like an hour because I was gonna go buy it. I actually really wanted to buy it, and it was sold out completely just straight away. And so I was looking at this and I was like, you know what? I don't need that palette because I can like create a beautiful like romantasy, like book romantasy palette look with a palette that I already have from Colourpop. So I actually did a little short with this, and I really enjoyed it, and I really like this formula. So I am not gonna, when that palette does come back in stock, which I think is coming back, they said what, in April, I am not gonna be picking it up because I don't need it. Okay, next up we have my Pan palette for the year. This is the Naughty Nude from Huda Beauty. Obviously, I have it in my Pan palette. I enjoy this palette. I want to get more use out of it. That's why I pulled it for a Pan palette. But it's not my favorite palette of all time. So it's ranked here, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th place, which is not too bad at 17. It's not too bad. But yeah, I think the first couple weeks of February went into this quite a lot, and then the second half of February I kind of didn't. So I definitely need to do a little bit more of a push this month on this palette because I have slowed down. But yeah, it's fine. It's just an older palette, and it's a very samey palette. And so I don't want to overdo it because then I will hate going into it. So I just want to go into it when I want to go into it. Then we have the Color of Rain from Gloss Gods. I really like this palette, but honestly, it's an all shimmer palette. There's not too much that I can use with this palette. It has to be a companion palette. And I did use this when I was doing my book-inspired makeup look. And I went into, I'm wondering if I'm even allowed to rank this. I think I only went into one shade. So oops, let me just put that to the side. We can't rank it, but it would have been here if I could rank it. I only went into one shade for that one. Okay, then we have the Lovers from Cosmic Beauty. I did pick this up, and I did 2 looks with this. So this one I really enjoyed. I haven't gone into all of the shades yet. I think the quality is really pretty, and I think in comparison to the Muse palette, I find this very wearable. It's not super dark. It has a lot of good contrasting shades, and I think for me, that is actually something that I really enjoy. There's definitely some really interesting shades down here that I haven't yet gone into. I also haven't gone into this duochrome up here. So it's still a palette that I want to go into a little bit more. I basically worked on these greens and then this quad down here. So I haven't touched any of these purples. But yeah, I definitely want to play around with this a little bit more. I think the quality is stunning and it was a good purchase, I think. Next up, we've got the Avatar. This is the Air palette from Lethal Cosmetics. If you know, I love all of these. And I did go into this and I really enjoyed it. It was kind of a strange look because it wasn't just I didn't just use this for a look. So I went into this shade, went into Air Temple, I went into Moon Peach, and then I used a different palette. So I did use this with something else, but I definitely liked that I incorporated this in the look. Then I've been really enjoying my Club Nebula from Kaleidos. This one is my Project Level Up. It's my level 3. Is it my level 3? Yeah, I think it's my level 3. I hope so. Yeah, it's my level 3. And still no extra pans, so there's no spoiler here. And yeah, I've been really enjoying this palette this month, and obviously I will use it a lot this next month. So we'll see how I feel. I might get sick of it, but so far I'm still really enjoying it. Then we've got the Vintage Glam from Gloss Gods. I went into this for Valentine's Day, like a Valentine's Day look. A lot of these were more pinky tones, as you would have gathered. So beginning of February, I got very much into my like romantic, you know, blush, rosy, purpley looks, and then I started doing other things. So this one is always a beautiful palette to go into for this time of year, and the quality is still absolutely stunning. They brought it back. I've seen on the website they still have it. I do have a code with Gloss Gods and it is working. You can get 10% off if you use my link down below my description. It is affiliate. Honestly, it's a win-win if you use it. If you don't want to use it, that's absolutely fine. So yeah, this one, always a pleasure to use. Really, really stunning. And it's my third best ranked palette for the month. And then this is my new pan that palette in order. It's the Look for Rainbows from Gloss Gods. I think I've just been dying to go into this for so long, and I finally did. So I'm ranking it super high because I love this palette. It's an all shimmer palette, so it's not something that you can use, you know, with everything, but I've been really loving it, and I've gone into just 2 shades so far this month, so I can rank it. So it made it here, and I saw that they have this one on the Gloss Gods website, so if you want to pick it up, you can. This is just stunning formula, stunning quality. And then my favorite is the Ultra Ego Shadow Kiss. I've been going into this quite a lot. It looks a little bit more used. I'm really hoping that I'll have a pan in here before my next Pan That Palette update. This is another Pan That Palette that I'm working on this year with the Huda Beauty one, and this one, you can spot the difference with this one when you see the before pictures, which I'm not going to post on here, but I will have for my actual update. I've been loving this so much. It is so wearable. It's so stunning. It's so flattering. I just love these shades. I think these shades are flattering, honestly, to everyone, whether you want to be colorful or not. Obviously, I wear a lot of colorful makeup, but sometimes I just want to wear this, and I will wear this, and it just makes me feel so good about myself. I love this color story. And honestly, the quality is still really, really stunning with this palette. So I'm so happy that after 3 years of having this palette, I'm finally giving it the attention that it needs, because I've always loved this palette and I've never given it any love. And yeah, I'm very excited because I feel like I'm going to have a pan in here very soon. This one I've been really liking Disguise. So anyway, I will talk about that in another video, but that is my favorite palette, I think, in my collection, honestly, at this point. I just think it's just a palette that I could take with me on any occasion and put a look together and actually fit in. So that is it. That's my update. That's my little video. Thank you so much for watching. I might have rushed this video a little bit, but I don't have too much time to film. So thank you so much, and I will see you all next time in another video. Bye.